Daniel's 70th week prophecy, Part 3. What must come before the 70th week? How, when, and what? How will it happen? When will it happen? And what will occur during? Welcome to Chapter 2, a tale of two prophecies, where things could be heading shortly. In this chapter we'll discuss two prophecies, one beast, 7 heads, 10 horns, 7 heads, 8 horns. Could the caliphate really return? And talking turkey, the little horn. The prophets Daniel and John saw the final beast empire that would precede Daniel's 70th week, and it would come in 2 phases. Phase 1 is in Daniel 7:7 and later in verse 23 and 24. And remember, this is a prophecy regarding Babylon, not Jerusalem. Verse 7, quote, "After that, in my vision, at night I looked, and there before me was a 4th beast, terrifying and frightening and very powerful. It had large iron teeth. It crushed and devoured its victims, and trampled underfoot whatever was left. And it was different from all former beasts, and it had 10 horns. And down in verse 23, "And he gave me this explanation. The 4th beast is a 4th kingdom that will appear on earth. It will be different from all the other kingdoms, and it will devour the whole earth, trampling it down and crushing it. The 10 horns are 10 kings who will come from this kingdom." The uniting factor of the 7 heads and 10 kings is Islam, that crushes all cultures it conquers. The Apostle John records phase 1 of the final beast empire in his prophecy in Revelation 13, 1-3. Verse 1, "The dragon stood on the shore of the sea, and I saw a beast coming out of the sea. It had 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 crowns on its horns, and on each head a blasphemous name. The beast I saw resembled a leopard, but had feet like those of a bear, and a mouth like that of a lion. The dragon gave the beast his power, and his throne, and great authority. One of the heads of the beast seemed to have a fatal wound, but the fatal wound had been healed." There's a couple key points John brings up in his prophecy. First, one of the heads seemed to have a fatal wound, but the fatal wound had been healed. And 2, it would be a composite beast with remnants of each of the 3 empires following Babylon making up the body. Greece would be represented by the leopard, Medo-Persia by the bear, and the Ottoman Turks by the lion. Daniel and John saw a terrible beast coming up out of the sea with the body of a leopard, the feet of a bear, with 7 lions' heads and 10 horns. It was a sight to behold. And notice that the middle head has a fatal head wound. The beast body is a composite beast of the empires that conquered Babylon. The first was the Medo-Persian Empire, represented here by 2 feet of a bear. The second was the Grecian Empire, represented by the body of a leopard. And the third was the Islamic Empire, or empires that followed, represented here by the head of a lion. Islam conquered all of the Middle East and North Africa. Now the head, notice that it has 7 heads, and these represent the 7 empires that conquered or controlled Jerusalem. The first was the Egyptian Empire, the second, the Assyrians, the third, the Babylonian Empire, the fourth, the Medo-Persian Empire, the fifth, the Grecian Empire, the sixth, the Roman Empire, finally with the Ottoman Turkish Empire, that suffered a fatal head wound in 1923. So phase 1 is the beast from the sea, the revived Islamic caliphate. And as seen in the previous slide, each head represents an empire that conquered Jerusalem in the past. In the future, it appears that each one of the ancient empires will be represented by at least one current nation. And here are the possible nations that I surmise will be in phase 1 of the revived Islamic Caliphate, with Egypt as the leader, since the Ottoman Turkish Empire died and is yet to be revived. Remember, 10 horns equals 10 kings. So the Egyptian Empire will be represented by Egypt and Sudan. The Ottoman Turkish Empire will be represented by Lebanon and Syria. The Roman Empire will be represented by Libya and Algeria. The Assyrian Empire will be represented by Jordan. The Medo-Persian Empire will be represented by Iran. The Babylonian Empire will be represented by Iraq. And finally, the Grecian Empire will be represented by Greece. And just a note, these starred nations above are not listed in the final Ezekiel 38-39 battle at the end of the week. And I believe 3 of them will fall, thus leading to phase 2, the revived Ottoman Empire, later. So here is a different view of the coming caliphate that focuses on the 10 horns in phase 1. As for the horns, out of this kingdom 10 kings shall arise. That's in Daniel 7:24. And on his 10 horns were 10 crowns. That's in Revelation 13:1. And I believe that the 10 nations represented in the phase 1 will be Sudan, Egypt, Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Algeria, Iran, Iraq, Jordan, and Greece. Now, the exact makeup of the 10-nation beast empire, or the revived Islamic Caliphate, that will emerge is not known. But this is my best guess, given what I see in current events. But it is sure that 10 kings will unite to form the final beast empire. And the reason why I believe Egypt will try to take the leadership role of the caliphate at its onset is to try to regain its past glory as the former caliph before the Ottoman Turkish Empire. So now, returning to the vision as seen by Daniel, here is phase 2 as found in Daniel 7:8, 7:21 through 22, and 7:24b through 25. In verse 8, "While I was thinking about the horns, there before me was another horn, a little one, which came up among them, and 3 of the first horns were uprooted before it. This horn had eyes like the eyes of a human being, and a mouth that spoke boastfully." In verse 21, "As I watched, this horn was waging war against the holy people and defeating them, until the Ancient of Days came and pronounced judgment in favor of the holy people of the Most High. And the time came when they possessed the kingdom." In verse 24, "After them another king will arise, different from the earlier ones. He will subdue 3 kings. He will speak against the Most High, and will oppress his holy people, and try to change the set times and laws. The holy people will be delivered into his hands for a time, times, and half a time." And just a reminder, a time, times, and half a time equals 42 months, which equals 1,260 days, which equals 3.5 years. So here is phase 2 as seen according to John. And it is found in Revelation chapter 13, verses 3b through verse 7. Verse 3b, "The whole world was filled with wonder and followed the beast. People worshipped the dragon because he had given authority to the beast. And they also worshipped the beast and asked, 'Who is like the beast, and who can wage war against it?' The beast was given a mouth to utter proud words and blasphemies, and to exercise its authority for 42 months. It opened its mouth to blaspheme God, and to slander his name, and his dwelling place, and those who live in heaven. It was given power to wage war against God's holy people and to conquer them, and it was given authority over every tribe, people, language, and nation. And just a reminder, 42 months equals a time times and half a time, which equals 1260 days, which equals 3.5 years. So here is the vision, the beast from the sea, the revived Ottoman Empire. The fatal head wound occurred in 1923 with the fall of the Ottoman Empire, but it will come to life again to, quote, make peace, unquote, with Israel with the 7-year peace treaty and usher in Daniel's 70th week. Following the revival of the 7th head and the overthrowing of 3 kings, the, quote, plucking up, unquote, of 3 of the horns, believed here to be Egypt, Syria, and Lebanon, Turkey takes the lead of the revived Ottoman Empire. Note, 3 horns are removed, leaving 8 horns. 8 kings equals 8 horns, and here are the final 8 kings to make up this final empire. The first one is Turkey, which is the little horn that arises to make great boasts against the Lord. The second is Sudan, the third and fourth is Libya and Algeria, and Jordan, Iran, Iraq, and Greece. And now looking more specifically at the horns of the revived Ottoman Empire. In Daniel he describes them. While I was contemplating the horns, another horn came up among them, and 3 of the first horns were pulled out by the roots before it. Another will arise after them, and he will be different from the previous ones and will subdue 3 kings. Turkey is this horn that arises up to take out 3 of the other kings. And those 3 other kings are Lebanon, Egypt, and Syria. So the remaining 8 horns or kings are Sudan, Libya, Algeria, Iraq, Iran, Jordan, and Greece. Now the exact makeup of the final 8-nation beast empire, or the revived Ottoman Empire, that will emerge is not known. So this is my best guess given what I see in current events. But it is sure that 8 kings will unite to form the final 8-nation beast empire that will sign the 7-year peace treaty with Israel and usher in the 70th week of Daniel and the last 7 years of this age. So could a caliphate be just around the corner? Well, as mentioned in Chapter 1 of this study, it was not long ago that the thought of an Islamic caliphate being reconstituted after nearly 100 years of being, quote, killed, unquote, following World War I was pretty crazy. The Arab Spring that began in December 2010 with the self-immolation of a fruit vendor in Tunisia that brought on riots and the overthrowing of that government eventually spread throughout the Middle East and has suddenly brought this possibility to the forefront. The driving force behind the push to revive the caliphate is the Muslim Brotherhood based in Egypt. In fact, the Muslim Brotherhood was founded in 1928 specifically to restore the, quote, glory of Islam, unquote, and to usher in the caliphate to encompass the whole world. Hence, it is my belief that Egypt will vie for leadership of the caliphate to recapture its past glory, since it was the seat of the caliph, or the ruler of the Islamic Empire, during the Fatimid Caliphate from 909 AD to 1171 AD, or 262 years, before it moved to Turkey. So could the caliphate really be just around the corner? Well, here's a few recent headlines that I found with their URLs attached. Taliban pulls fast one in Doha, claiming rebirth of caliphate, humiliating Karzai. That's from June 20th, 2013. PA Arabs fet new Mahdi, establishment of caliphate. Thousands of PA Arabs participated in a mass rally in Ramallah earlier this week calling for the establishment of the Muslim caliphate. And that's from June 6, 2013. Davutoglu invokes Ottomanism as a new order for the Middle East. And that's from March 10, 2013. Please visit jihadwatch.org for all of the latest news regarding Islam's expansion in the Middle East and West, and it will truly open your eyes. With regards to that last headline, quote, Davutoglu invokes Ottomanism as a new order for the Middle East. This is from March 2013, and it wasn't picked up in the Western media, but this is a significant headline because even Turkey is now talking openly about reviving the Muslim caliphate from Istanbul, Turkey. And this isn't just anyone in Turkey discussing this. This is coming from the Turkish Foreign Minister Davutoglu as he was meeting with Secretary of State John Kerry in March 2013. And here is a brief quote from the article. Here is why, in his own words, quote, last century was only a parenthesis for us. We will close that parenthesis. We will do so without going to war or calling anyone an enemy, without being disrespectful to any border. We will again tie Sarajevo to Damascus, Benghazi to Erzurum to Batumi. This is the core of our power, he said. Emphasis mine. It looks like the Seventh Empire is about to wake up. So what should we be looking for in the coming days, weeks, or months? Well, things are spinning out of control right now and are very fluid. But we should look for Israel being forced to attack Iran. And this will be the catalyst that would cause the Islamic nations to unite against the quote aggression unquote of the Jews. All of the surrounding nations would be so enraged that they would demand a caliphate to unite them together to exact revenge against Israel. However, I think Turkey will not join initially and will actually play a key role to come to the defense of Israel, because it is a NATO nation with the largest military of the nations of the Middle East. And also, it does not benefit Turkey at all to have the whole region aflame. Turkey actually wants Iran to have reduced power in the region. So maybe Israel will be acting with the tacit agreement of Turkey and Saudi Arabia and the other Gulf states to take out Iran's nuclear power. So the rise of the 10-nation beast empire will happen, but it will be short-lived, because Turkey will rise to defeat 3 of the 10 nations, taking its leadership role of the 8-nation Phase 2 part of the 8th beast empire. And then watch for this peace process that is currently happening to break down. But then watch Turkey rise up to broker a quote peace unquote treaty with Israel that will be significantly 7 years in duration, allow for the rebuilding of the Third Jewish Temple, and provide for the leader of Turkey to actually make his residence in the beautiful land for the duration of the treaty, just to show that he is serious about this lasting peace. Thank you for watching Chapter 2. As you can see, things are moving very rapidly. Please continue on to Chapter 3 for more of Part 3 of my study on Daniel's 70th week prophecy. In Chapter 3, we will discuss this leader and the treaty. If you like it, tell somebody. I do appreciate your taking the time to watch my videos on the 70th week of Daniel. And if you think they offer insights that others can benefit from, can you please do 2 things for me? First, share them. Let's get the word out to your friends, family, and church that there are signs that we should be watching for that may indicate that we are very close to the culmination of this age. And second, please like my videos. Those little thumbs up signs are really important, and it does help others to see that people like you find these helpful to the end time discussion. God bless and Godspeed.